Excellent. Live again. All right, my friends. Today's episode is a ranting, ranted episode, which means that I'm going to pontificate upon some thoughts. No, I'm going to go off on just a few things. The first thing, let's start with the title. Fuck your hot take. That's where I am. Fuck your hot take. Maybe not all hot takes, but fuck your hot take. Let's start with what is a hot take? You've probably heard about them. You've probably read them, seen them, made your own hot take. The idea is that a hot take is a piece of deliberately provocative commentary that is based almost entirely on shallow moralizing in response to a news story. It's usually written on tight deadlines with little research or reporting, and even less thought. Okay, so that's just the Wikipedia. You just type in, what is a hot take? That's what will pop up. The last bit, even less thought goes into these. That's what I want to touch on. And why I say, fuck your hot take. I think the culture that we've created of hot takes is not doing us any favors. Why is it not necessarily a good thing, a hot take? Well, it doesn't account for any nuance. Zero nuance can be had when you're giving a hot take. Because again, the idea is that it's deliberately provocative commentary that is based on shallow moralizing information. Meaning like, what is the worst human take to take this? And that's what is our hot take's going to be usually. Or you can be like, for sports as an example, because I like sports, one of the hot takes at the start of the NFL season was that Josh Allen was going to have a huge year. Actually ended up coming true. That's what's up. But before that, it was a crazy hot take because basically that the guy's entire career up until this year had been trash or garbage, just compared to his peers. Anyways, breakout. Hot take. We don't like them though. So the idea for a hot take is that it makes the world more black and white, because the idea, and I see this on Facebook when I lurk on, someone says X is the best metal band of all time, let's say, for example. Debate me, or you're wrong if you think otherwise. That's usually it. You're wrong if you have another opinion. Yeah. Well, I mean, instantly. So if I'm scrolling through my feed and I see X is the best metal band or the best metal, and you're wrong if you don't think that, well, in a way, they're coming at you and they're saying where you are is wrong because I don't like this. And it's stated that if I don't like this, then I'm wrong. And when I'm being told that I'm wrong, especially in that kind of way, not the gentle, oh, you're wrong. Oh, we'll gently course correct you. No, but the fuck you suck, you're wrong. Well, that's going to raise you up. That's going to get some chemicals going. That's going to get you heightened. You're going to be like, oh, I'm ready to go to town to tell them how wrong they are for saying that everyone who doesn't think like them is wrong. You're like, no, you just fell into the trap of the hot take. There it is, right there. Creating the extreme where you say, this side of the line is good, that side of the line is bad. It makes things black and white. The world is not black and white at all. It's many, many, many shades of gray, and really a rainbow. Let's be honest. It's infinite shades. And to say, or to categorize or limit reality in saying, I mean, it is drawing a line in the sand. I mean, that is, again, the idea of the hot take, is it's drawing a line in the sand and saying, let's fight. or step up to the line, basically, and we're gonna throw down verbally. But it's word vomit. It's no. It's because your words are directly associated to your thinking. It's thinking vomit. You're seeing someone just foaming, vomit foam, just coming out of their mouths. Hot take. It's less thinking, more saying. Which, hey, listen, I know all about that. I say it all the time. When I'm talking, especially in conversation, I'm not really thinking. I find if I'm thinking, I get in my way. I'm more likely to stumble over words, not get out the point. I just let myself say things, which is not to say that thought hasn't gone into what I'm saying, even if I'm not thinking in that particular moment. Yeah. But a hot take is not fleshed out. It's purposely not fleshed out. And so when we've created a reality or culture where the information has been consolidated down to bite-sized chunks of information, so tweets, a 200 or no. That's way too generous. A 50-word Facebook post. Well, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But if in my picture, I'm only showing you what I want you to see, so I'm directing the vision, which is what a picture kind of is anyways, but there's more ambiguity in some pictures than others. And so if I'm allowing the picture to speak, if you will, that's different than if I'm directing the picture to say a certain thing, so to speak a certain thing. But we've been conditioned in a way, because I see this in myself, where I've always liked reading, but it's never been harder for me to read a book, and especially to completion. I mean, I still read, but it's a lot easier to go on Twitter, Instagram, and just quote, hot take, quote, hot take. Because you're just getting, because ultimately the idea of us being information scavengers, and we're just trying to scavenge as much information as we can, gather. You'll just take in any information. A hot take is garbage. If you're consuming mostly hot takes, you're a raccoon that's not even sifting through the trash. You're just a raccoon sitting at the end of a trash compactor on a conveyor belt, and it's just being shoveled in. And again, I'm talking about myself as well as us. I see this in my own behavior. And it's funny too that the idea in a fuck your hot take, that I've spent 8 minutes on just a hot take, and a hot take is not 8 minutes long. A hot take is 30 seconds long. A hot take is, if you can really get it and incite as much emotion as you possibly can in the short amount, it's like 10 seconds. Really, if I could show you 5 seconds, hot take. Oh. But it's interesting, though, because it has shaped the way that we view our world, as does everything. Everything shapes the way, that we experience things, and whether you're aware of it or not. Now, I'm going to shift, because this is a ranting, ranted episode. Sometimes I hear myself here. And I start to think, and then I catch myself. Right? I know, that's the funny part. But because this is an RRR, R triple, R cubed, I have a few topics. So awareness is a stubbed pinky. Talking about awareness. So I stubbed my pinky toe the other day. But we're going to use pinky on your hand, because I think it'll help illustrate the idea even better. But When you stub your pinky, you become aware of your pinky. Whereas most of your life, most of your day, you're not thinking about your pinky. It's not thinking either. I shouldn't even use that word. You're not aware of your pinky. You might be aware of like this. Like really, if I could depict us, it would be what? I've seen a depiction of this actually, but if you will, imagine big mouth, big, huge eyes, big head, and then like maybe hands, spindly arms, body, maybe feet. I don't know how aware some of you are, but awareness is like a stub pinky, because you find when you stub your pinky that you become, well, aware. And what is that? Well, your attention goes on to your pinky. Again, that's not saying that you're thinking about your pinky. In a way, you could think that, but it's not that. Awareness is the beam of what? Open, non-judgmental allowing or acceptance. Let's say that. Which I know it gets confused a lot. And I use awareness very fast, very loose. But in this particular instance, awareness is like a stub pinky. Awareness is a stub pinky, I should say. Because your pinky is there always, unless you lost your pinky. But your pinky is there for most of us. I got two. Are you aware of it? I was walking on the trail the other day. I was playing this game that I like to play, whereas essentially I balance from rock to rock to rock and don't touch any of the dirt. Like a game of don't touch the lava. Oh, yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm not thinking, but I'm watching that for me to be successful at balancing on rocks, because they're not all flat, they're all in different shapes and some of them move. But for me to be successful at that, my awareness can't be above my shoulders. My awareness has to be in my feet. So I saw that I was very aware, I should say. See, aware. What's the difference? Same difference. But I was watching how my feet were not contorting exactly to the rock, because my feet aren't blobs, but how my feet were trying to match the rocks better, because that would give me essentially a stronger platform or base in which to propel myself. And I have found in playing this game, because I like to play this game a lot, and if you've ever gone hiking with me, you've gone rock hopping with me. But I found that when you start to think, so that could be, I need to watch where my feet are going. Where's my feet going to go? Where am I going to put my foot? That can be, I want to get down this trail faster. That could be anything, literally any thought, because a thought is taking you that much away from the action of reality. If you're thinking, if you're in your head, you're more likely to fall. Yeah. So you can't think. It has to be the no mind. I've been reading Alan Watts' Way of Zen. And it's pretty interesting because it's helped highlight some of the areas in which I, in a way, have distanced myself from reality because of the way that I choose to think about reality. In saying even like it's the game of this, if you will, meta of life, of reality, is so thick and nuanced and subtle. So many layers. Anyways, like I said, ranting, ranted. Here's another thing. You can't make people like you. I had an interaction today where I wake up, I take my morning poo, and I open my phone, go to Twitter, automatic. I don't even have to think about it. I can be unconscious and open up Twitter on my phone. That's how habituated it is. But I open it up and I see that I got an app from like a retweet. It was a comment, whatever, to something that I retweeted. And if you follow me on Twitter, actually, if you follow me in general, you know that I follow all sides now. Far left, far right, everything in the middle that I'm aware of. Obviously, I have blinders. But I posted something about, or I retweeted something. Is something along the lines of like, the how #MeToo, how that movement, what came from that was believe all women. And part of that line of thinking was that some people were saying that in the believe all women that basically like, well, can't some women lie? So if we're believing, anyways, like with everything, nuance. But the person was saying, how did Me Too go to cursing at TERFs? Was that trans exclusionary? You guys can help me out on that. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't want to know, actually. But anyways, this person messaged me or added me in front of everyone. That's fine. That's what Twitter's for. Sure. And went the hardest take or the most negative take that you could take. And so I'm like, oh, hey, this is a good idea. I want to get this person on my podcast because I talk all the time about trying to have conversations with people who I know for a fact this person does not like me. They do not respect me. That's okay. That's fine. I wanted to model what it was like to talk to someone like that. Because this person's, I could be biased in this. Biased. I could be. And I do because it's my experience, right? So I have some level of that. So take it with a grain of salt and you can look it up if you want. But he's pretty hostile in the way of framing information. That's fine. Because come to find out, this person has an old idea of who they think I am. And that's okay. In a way that is karmic burn off from the past version of myself. So like the Blake Ross period, if you will. And if you don't know about that, whatever. You don't want to know about it. I guess quick caveat is like, I used to not be a very nice person. And some people still remember me as that. And it's very interesting because ultimately, because I Facebook messaged this person. I was like, hey, let's do a podcast. And basically he was like, I would never do a podcast with someone like you. I'm like, fair enough. Because if you seem to think that I am what you're saying, because I would imagine you wouldn't call me some of the things. And ultimately, hey, if you think I'm those things, then I don't blame you for not wanting to talk with me. I actually don't blame you for not liking me. And here's the thing about it. I didn't try to make the person like me. That's fine. It's okay. And even though I'm a different person, and even though like there was a part of me that was like, no, let me give evidence on how I'm different and how actually you and I could probably have a relatively decent conversation if we could enter into that space together. And it's okay that we can't. It's also okay that we can't. I get it was a little bit too much. And sometimes, I mean, not even sometimes, I guess that's one of my things is I come off a little too much, or I come off as being very in your face. Sometimes I'm hard to handle. I get that. Sure. And especially if the information that you're going on is old information. That's okay. But people can change. The way that you can change, the way that I can change. Well, some people think that I can change or haven't changed. But I can give you the space to change. I can give you the space to be the same. That's the other part. If you need to be the same, as in, I mean, none of us can help doing the things that we do and making the decisions that we make, or being interested in the things that we're interested in. And that's okay. Because at the very end, ultimately, I'd give that person a hug if I could. I know I would have to dodge the punch, but I give them a hug. I give them a hug, because you got to be in. It must be lonely sometimes, and it's okay, because there is love. And here's, because this is, I know, a ranting, ranted. So there's less direction than even normal, which, not to say that there's even that much to begin with. But I'm going to wrap it up with this, which, who knows, it could go for another like 50 minutes. I'm kidding. Who knows? But I've had this idea lately of freedom. And you've heard me talk about freedom of thought, freedom of speech. But what about freedom from everything? What about freedom from needing people to like you? What about freedom from our habits? What about freedom from habits? And so that's just something that, well, if you interact with me in real life, you know I struggle just like anyone else. I'm a human being. I make no qualms about it. I'm a human being. I have the full gamut of human emotions, which is great, because I haven't always allowed them. I'm a human being. I'm messy. I'm ooey. I'm gooey. I have hard days, but I try. I've been trying to free myself from everything. And who knows, maybe I won't get it this round. Because something, here's something that I found. And I'm going to talk about this in another podcast, but I have found, no, how about this? I'll frame it like this. When I was younger, I needed to be the center of attention. I needed it. I needed it. Because if I wasn't the center of attention, if I didn't have your attention, then I did not have value, or so I thought. And it's been interesting, because here's the weird way it goes, or the way that expresses in my life now. Because I like attention, yes. I don't need attention or even want it all the time. I like it when I get it. I don't need to be the center of attention. Sometimes I'm the center of attention still. Like this is very meta, and we could talk about it deeper, sure. But this particular character role of Blake Ross, the essence Blake Ross that I'm inhabiting. I know that sounds super out there. Hey, you're staying for the after hours at this point. But this character seems to find itself, because it has a tendency to be a spectacle. So here's the crazy thing. Because I'm talking about myself as an object. I mean, this is just an easier way to explain it. There's a little bit more, as always, nuance. But it's not this black and white, obviously, in even the way I think, but just more so in the explanation of it. I don't need the attention. I don't even want to be the center of attention. Maybe not always true. I like being the center of attention for my dog, right? Getting all of his attention. But I don't need to be in the center of everyone's attention, of a group's attention. And yet I still find myself in groups of people with their attention. So freedom from everything. freedom from freedom from the craving. Again, I'm using this as an example in my own life, but of needing your attention, of needing attention for validation. Freedom from everything. That is freedom from self-conscientiousness. How about that? Self-consciousness. Mixing up words. Let's start them together. Not always going into a situation and just imagine going into a situation. I don't know if, some of you might be more introverted, some of you might be more extroverted and not feel this, but you go into a situation, an unknown situation with people and not being self-conscious. Oh my God, I hope I don't make a fool of myself. I hope I don't. Do I look cool? Whatever. I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking. That's why I'm like, oh God, not that I make a fool of myself, but do I look cool? But freedom from all of that. Imagine that. Freedom from, being self-conscious. Because isn't that the funny thing about it? Because it's the self being conscious of itself and shying away from it, being like, oh, I know there's this thing here, but let's not look at it. That's like if I just labeled my crooked lip and I said, ooh, it's evil because it's not the same as everyone else. Don't look at it. Oh. But we do that to ourselves. I mean, and I very well could have done that. Again, when I was a little kid, I didn't like my crooked lip. Actually, for most of my school pictures, it was like closed mouth smile. But now it's like, I cheese hard as fuck because I'm not going to change it, right? Like, that's the thing about it is, again, for the idea of freedom of everything, how can I be free of everything? How can I be free of everything? Free from myself. Free from everything. I don't want just freedom of the right to bear arms or freedom of speech. No, I want freedom from everything. And that doesn't mean to do what I want. No, actually, I want freedom from doing what I want, because doing what I want all the time, man, it's not the best. It's not actually the best for me. If I get what I want all the time, I like sugar. I would just eat sugar all the time if I got what I wanted. Because I don't always need what I want. And if I'm free from everything, well, I guess I get everything that I need then. I'm going to end it on that.